Welcome to This Week in Morgan County. I'm your host, Russell Mokhiber. Our guest this week is Mike Kligerman. He's the founder and leader of the Tri-state Ukeclectics Orchestra right here in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Good to be here.
What do you have in your hand there?
Well, this is a ukulele. This is a tenor ukulele, the largest of the small ukuleles.
And how did you become such a ukulele fan?
Well, I teach at the Washington Conservatory of Music in D.C., and I teach guitar there. I've taught at Glen Echo, the campus that I teach at, for over 30 years. And so a few years ago, the director asked me if I would teach some ukulele classes because there was some interest in it, and I said, sure, and then I went and bought a ukulele.
You had never had one or played one before?
I played one as a kid, because I think everybody in the 50s and 60s would have one in their house. It was a very common instrument. And then Tiny Tim kind of put a stake through the heart of the ukulele playing for a generation.
For people not our age, explain Tiny Tim and what do you meant by what you just said?
Well, Tiny Tim did a very famous song called Tiptoe Through the Tulips, and that kind of killed ukulele for a long time, I think.
I actually like the song.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
It's okay. No, it's actually I saw Tiny Tim once in concert, and he was actually really very, very good. So he did a lot of cowboy music.
And is there a resurgence now post Tiny Tim?
Oh, the last last 10 years or so, it's just been unbelievable. There's people have just rediscovered it, and it's funny that it's not funny that it's resurging. It's funny that it ever went out of style because it's such a great instrument.
But what do you teach guitar, and is there a characteristic of a ukulele player that's different from a guitar player?
They're a lot more fun generally. Yeah, because it's so limited. You really only have like an octave and a half of useful notes on your ukulele, and that makes you be creative in a different way. And it's easy to start playing. You can play the first chord you play as a C chord with one finger, and actually even if you just play the open strings, I mean, how beautiful is that? It sounds.
Let's do Ukulele 101.
Okay.
Let's say teach us a really basic ukulele song. So even someone who's musically challenged like myself
I should have brought two ukuleles.
could pick up the ukulele and play this song.
Okay. I do an introductory class the first Friday of every month at the Black Hat Music Shop. And the first half hour, it's a club meeting, the first half hour I teach you how to play the ukulele. And we start with, first of all, we start with just the open strings. By the way, the open strings are famously known as, "My dog has fleas." And that's how you know your ukulele is in tune. So everybody just plays that and you go, well, that sounds, that's the worst that can happen, which is pretty nice. And then you put your third finger on the first string on the third fret, and that's a C chord. And then your strum is just your hand going up and down in time with the music. And if you happen to come back up and touch the strings, you get that nice kind of plunky, plunky, plunky. And then the next chord you learn is a G7, which is a little triangle. Oh. You just move this finger back.
That sounds like Hawaii right there.
It does, And with that, you can do. Oh, this is the X chord, the most important chord. My flag boy and your flag boy sitting by the fire. My flag boy told your flag boy, gonna set your flag on fire. Talk about hey now, C, G7, C, go back to C. And you can play
So that's 3 chords.
2 chords.
2 chords.
2 chords. And then if you take your finger off, you get that. If you do the same finger on the, you're like playing melody already. So that's pretty cool. You can do, that was a New Orleans song. You can do. Cuando salí de La Habana, válgame Dios. You can do La Paloma with those 2 chords. You can do.
Is that
you
Cuba?
can do gospel.
Are we talking Cuba? Do we go to Cuba from Hawaii?
Yes, you could do. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And you can do. Chuck Berry died recently. You can do. Let's see. C'est la vie, say the old folks. You never can tell. It was a teenage wedding, and the old folks wished them well. Really love the Mademoiselle. So you can do 2
And
chords.
just in the first class, you can pick up all that.
Yes. Well, and then you actually learn 4 chords in the first class. You learn F, which is that, and then A minor. So you're dangerous within like a half hour. That's one of the beauties of ukulele playing, because entry is easy, and then you just go from there. Also, I teach picking too. I mean. It's like French impressionist music. At first,
It's a gateway drug to music because it's like the easiest. Is it the easiest?
Yes, but
instrument to learn.
Yeah, but like pot, you could stay there forever, if you wanted to.
How come I'm thinking Hawaii?
Well, it was invented in Hawaii. A group of Portuguese woodworkers went to Hawaii, and they ran out of work, so they started making instruments and making guitars. And there was a little guitar called a machete, that they made. And all guitars would have different numbers of strings, usually 6 strings, but they made 4 and 5 string guitars too. And my theory is that there was a 4-string guitar which was tuned normally, because this has a funny tuning with that high 4th string, and normally this would be, in a normal instrument, it would be, and the 4th string would be boom, low, but this is an octave higher. And I think what happened was that somebody broke their 4th string, and they didn't really have a replacement string, because where are you going to get strings in Hawaii in the 1800s? And but they had a high string, and so they thought, well, we'll just put the high string on there, and they tuned it up, and it was like.
Is it a special kind of wood?
No.
But originally?
They made them out of local wood, so it would be mahogany or koa or mango and stuff. They make them out of a lot of exotic woods. This is sort of a mahogany plywood ukulele, which is. By the way, they're also very reasonable too. This was under $100.
So to get started, you need a ukulele, or do you have ukuleles that people can use when they go to class?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
And you don't need a ukulele, you show up.
You just show up, and then you're playing.
What's the idea, how did you get the idea for the Tri-state Ukeclectic Orchestra, and give us the history of it?
Well, it was, I wanted to do a musical group here in the area, and I'd been teaching at the Black Cat Music Shop for a little while, and I talked to Adam and Janet, and they said, well, sure, go ahead and try it. And so I guess August 2015, we just gave a trial run, and we just advertised it a little bit, and just to see if anybody was interested. And I thought it would be fun to just do an introductory class, and then just see what happened, just kind of see what happened. So people came, and liked it. A lot of people came back and were interested, and so we continued and learned some songs, and then, so that was August. In December, they...
August of last year?
No, the year before.
The year before, so
And
August.
so that December, there was the Christmas show here at the Ice House was, they needed another group to play, so we had some Christmas carols and seasonal music, and so
And
that was our first gig, you know, and people really enjoyed it, and we started getting players, and people who played other instruments would come and join, and got a core of people who play and actually practice and sing and stuff. So we're just seeing where it goes, and it's really been very interesting.
How many people do you have, and what gigs do you have coming up? Where can people see you?
Yeah, well, we field a team of about 12 to 15 at a time, you know, but there's in the club there's two entities: the Ukeclectic Orchestra and the club. The club there's probably like 50 or 60 people that will come, you know, off and on to meetings, and then the performing group is the orchestra, and because there's so many of us, you know, people can come and go a little bit, and you know, as long as we have the good singers, that's what we really need, because there's plenty of ukulele playing, and so that's.
Where can people see you in Berkeley Springs coming up, say, for example?
Well, that's on May 13th. We'll be around for we'll be playing with the Shimmy Mob.
Shimmy Mob, and
Yeah.
Those are the belly dancers.
The belly dancers, yes, and so we'll be floating around, and what we do is since we're mobile, you know, we don't have equipment except our ukuleles, which are small. We can travel, so. We just go wherever there's people and accost them with our ukulele playing.
Are most of the people in the orchestra, are they musicians, or are they newcomers who have never played music before?
Both. It's interesting. There's people who play guitar or who play violin and just, you know, wanted to have another instrument, and they thought ukulele sounded like fun, and it is, but there's also people who have just started, who came to the club and you know, never played an instrument in their life, you know, and they've picked it up and gotten interested in it and like to sing. And we have a couple really good singers, so that makes it great.
What's the profile of a ukulele? If you were to say.
Well, it's generally somebody who doesn't take themselves all that seriously, you know. It's who's I think a lot of musicians tend to be sort of equipomaniacs, you know, where they are really interested in, you know, their guitars and their amplifiers and stuff. And generally, ukulele players aren't like that, you know.
Sense of humor?
Yes, sense of humor. People tend to dress up for the ukulele events and stuff, you know. They say, well, what are we going to wear for this gig? And I say, well, just wear ukulele chic or ukulele casual, you know.
Which is what?
Well, there's a lot of Hawaiian kind of inspired garbs. We have a Ukulele March, and so a lot of the women will actually wear belly dance scarves with jingles on them, and so everybody, you know, people kind of start collecting. They go to thrift shops looking for stuff that'll look cool with the ukulele orchestra's headgear is very important, you know.
All right, other than Tiptoe Through the Tulips,
give
us some like well-known ukulele tunes.
Okay, well, probably the most famous would be, which I hardly ever play. I probably don't even know what that would be. That kind of thing. That would be a good one.
That's like Hawaiian Airlines theme song.
Yes, exactly. And but I think the ukulele is much more suited for stuff that it probably shouldn't be played on it. So, like
cover tunes, you mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
that's a good ukulele song, and but it also has a kind of delicate side. This is a Mexican waltz.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it has a really delicate sound. I think it sounds a little bit like a harp, and it's a lot more portable and cheaper, and you don't need to buy a new car for it. So that's a good thing to have.
If you were to, just testing your musical understanding here,
Yes.
if you were to play the opening of the Cat Cafe on May 12th, give us
Yes.
a cat ukulele song.
Oh, a cat ukulele song. So, what would be a good song? Let's see.
Are you a cat person?
We currently have 7 cats.
Okay.
Down from 10, but you know, they always show up at your door. So.
So a song a kitty cat would like.
Oh, let's see. Well, they would like that song.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It sounds
general
that way.
stuff, you know. Let's see. Oh, let's see.
Do you know stray cat stuff? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. This
Go ahead.
is an original.
Okay, go ahead.
The lyrics aren't original, but
Okay.
oh, the owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. Oh, the owl. Anyway, so that's I can't remember the words, but that would be a good cat song, I think, for the.
We just have a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
If people wanted to get information about the orchestra or the club or lessons, how do they find you?
Well, they could go to the Black Cat music shop and ask Adam or Janet there, and that would be a good place to start. We do meet the first Friday of every month at 5 o'clock. And they could just show up, and give them a ukulele, they could start playing. And that would probably be the best way.
You have a long history in not just music, but fine arts.
Yes.
Well, give us a little bit about your history and how you got interested in the arts and what arts were you involved with?
Well, my training is as a sculptor. That's what I studied at college. And I did that and taught that for years. And I taught at Glen Echo Park in suburban Maryland. I still do. And when we moved here in 1993, I was teaching 2 nights a week, 1 night sculpture and 1 night music. They lost the guitar teacher had left the park, and they never got somebody to replace her. So I said, well, you know, I do that. So I started doing that too. And when we moved here, I only wanted to go down 1 day a week. And the choice was, do I continue teaching sculpture or music? And I thought, well, that was a no-brainer, because when you when you tell somebody about their sculpture, you know, they think that you're messing with their creativity. But when you show somebody something on an instrument, they're grateful, you know. So that made it an easy decision, and I really, there's a lot of joy in playing music, and that was it. I still do visual arts, and I do a lot of posters now for the Hancock Arts Council, which I'm involved in Hancock.
And you still teach guitar?
I do teach guitar and ukulele and fiddle a little bit, and you know, pretty much any string instrument. And I play classical music. I play viola and violin as well, and accordion, and play in a Civil War string band, and all sorts of stuff.
All right, so but the next place, next public place people will be able to see the orchestra is on the streets of Berkeley Springs, May
Yes.
13th with Shimmy Mob. That's in front of the courthouse, at the plant fair, around town.
Right, and I believe we're going to be involved at the what is Wood the county fair.
The county fair, okay.
We played there last year as well, and but we'll be around. There'll be lots of gigs happening, so it should be. You'll find us. Well, we'll find you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mike Kligerman.
Oh, thank you. This is great. Really
And
enjoyed
thank
it.
you for watching This Week in Morgan County.